things that I always get from people is they never know kind of where to start when it comes to their essays. And one of the ways in which you can start your essay is through the perspective of an object. So we're going to do something called the objects exercise. So if you have a piece of paper in front of you, that would be great. If you got the handout that Benjamin sent, I think there is a document that matches this object exercise. There's just like a bunch of numbers and lines. You can use that. You can use your phone. You're not sending this to anybody. This is really just for you to use. But if you can just grab a pen and whatever paper you want to write, what I'm going to do is I'm about to list a variety of objects. Excuse me. I'm going to list a variety of questions to you, and as I'm saying these questions or asking you these questions, what I want you to do is write down the first things that come to your mind. So for example, I might ask you, what's your favorite gift that you've ever been given? Write down the first objects that come to your mind. It's okay. I'm going to move quick. So if you only get 1 or 2 items per question, that's totally okay. I'm doing this on purpose. I want you to go for that gut reaction. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you these questions? So we are purposely going to go through this list of questions rather quickly. So let's get started. I'm going to start listing off some questions, and then I'll give you an example at the end with my object and sort of how I would potentially go about doing this. So we'll start with the first one. What's your favorite gift that you've ever been given? What reminds you of your family? What's the first thing that you see when you wake up in the morning? What are you definitely packing to take to college with you? If your house was on fire, what would you happily leave behind to burn? What object represents regret? What's your favorite food? What is something you found? Be careful with this next one. What is something that you stole? What is something you had to save up for? What represents your dreams? So those are all the questions. Some of these objects that might pop up in your list might seem like small, insignificant objects, but these are the objects that really tell us um, a lot about who you are as a person. I'll give you an example of what I would write my object exercise on, or my essay on, using this object exercise. So I would have written about my car keys. Car keys are something that a lot of people have, right? And you're probably thinking, what's so exciting about that? Well, so I didn't go to Reed. I went to a different school here in Portland, Oregon. And so I was taking the bus to school every day. I went to a big state school, 30,000 students in the middle of downtown Portland. It was a big commuter school, and I would take the bus to school every single day so I could live at home because I was only 20 minutes away from the college. And one day I was eating a bagel on the bus, and some gentleman boards the bus and takes that bagel out of my hand and keeps on walking. Clearly, he needed that bagel more than I did, but that was like my last straw with public transportation. I had a bunch of other weird incidents. The bus is not time. It was a mess, and so And the next week, I had went to a car dealership and I bought a brand new car off the lot. I didn't even test drive it. I was just like, here's my money, here's the down payment. I want this car. From when I was 16 years old to when I was 19 years old, I had saved up $10,000 working retail jobs part-time. And I used that as my down payment, and I bought a brand new 2011 Honda CRV. That thing was my baby. And I had it for a decade. I actually had it up until a couple of months ago.
Yeah, buddy. Put your
Um,
socks on there.
I think someone might have unmuted themselves. So anyways, this car, it allowed me to continue going to college. It allowed me to graduate school because it allowed me to finally get to classes on time and be a first generation college student. It allowed me to help move my sister into college when she went to school. It allowed me to get my first out of college adult job, and start earning a really good living and being able to support my family. It allows me to come to read every day and work with really awesome students like you. So see how this one object really, when I unpack it, it's a sign of access for me. It's a sign of privilege for me. It's a sign of all these things I didn't have before that it now allows me to have and that I'm really grateful for. I just sold it. So I sold it to my best friend, and I used that money to put a down payment on a brand new car. And I bought the same exact car, just the 2021 version, and the fully loaded, hybrid, top of the line trim level. So, but in the same color, same model. So I'm a stickler for things that I like, and I just like to get them over and over again. So still, I have a new car now. That car is still in my family, technically. I mean, I see my friends pretty often, so I get to see that car often as well. But that's just an example of how you can maybe approach this objects exercise. By the way, this objects exercise we took from the collegeessayguide.com.